The following is a brief and hopefully clear instructional video detailing an electrolysis experiment that we conducted with 6th and 7th graders for the USU Uinta Basin 2012 summer camp. It is my hope that this set of video instructions will be clear enough for you chemistry teachers out there who are interested to be able to duplicate this procedure with your students successfully. To set up a small-scale electrolysis apparatus, instead of using test tubes, as the literature usually recommends, we used two 25 milliliter glass burettes that were secured by two 3-prong clamps attached to the same ring stand. These burettes were suspended with their valves pointing up next to each other, so that their open ends were pointing down, immersed in an empty 250 milliliter glass beaker. At the base of each burette, a pre-bent insulated copper electrode was positioned so that one of its ends was protruding up into the burette and the other end was pointing out of and down the side of the beaker. To the 250 milliliter glass beaker were then added 150 milliliters of distilled water, followed by 25 milliliters of 5-normal aqueous sodium hydroxide. Students then waited about 3 minutes for dispersal of the ions into solution. We found that the experiment worked best if the burettes were filled with distilled water that was already charged with sodium hydroxide. Thus, with the burette's open ends now being immersed in the sodium hydroxide solution, each burette valve was independently opened and affixed to a pipette pump filler dispenser. This pipette pump dispenser was then used to draw sodium hydroxide solution up and into each burette, filling it to the 25 milliliter line. At this point, the alligator lead wires were attached to the exposed ends of the electrodes and then to a 6-volt battery, with the black wire being connected to the central terminal, the cathode, and the red wire being attached to the offset terminal, the anode. Gaseous evolution was instantly seen emanating from the submerged ends of the copper electrodes at the base of each burette. After about 10 to 15 minutes, enough hydrogen and oxygen gases had evolved so that their 2-to-1 relative volumes could be clearly observed.